In the early 1960s, baseball was the sport that captured the imagination of most young boys.
As soon as I was old enough, I couldn't wait to play baseball. So I started playing in the church league. I started out at second base and then eventually was a pitcher.
Billy never felt anything but safe on his community's baseball diamond. But one afternoon, in the spring of 1962, he learned that danger could strike at any moment.
It was April 30th. Had been to school that day and had practiced that afternoon. It was very early in the season. It was kind of light clouds that day and then got darker. So the coaches thought it was not safe, and so they called us in.
Heeding his coach's warning, Billy was the first kid off the field and headed to the drinking fountain to quench his thirst.
I was leaning over, drinking out of the fountain, which was under a big oak tree that came up and split into two big trunks. And lightning hit the tree, and of course was attracted by the water fountain. Hit me in the top of the head, right side of the head, came down my face and neck and chest and into the water fountain. I could have very easily died. In fact, would have had the coaches not known CPR. The lightning punctured my right eardrum and gave me electrical cataracts. It basically fried the lens in my eyes.
That he survived at all was a miracle. But now, Billy was faced with a grim reality, a lifetime of darkness. While his parents desperately searched for a surgeon who might help him, Billy gained solace at home, listening to baseball games.
El Dorado, Arkansas, was not very close to any major league teams, and so when the Houston team started in the early 60s, they were the closest team, so they were kind of the natural team that we would follow.
The Houston Club was an expansion team that went into the National League with the New York Mets. They were respectable. Their first year, they finished ahead of the Philadelphia Phillies. And, of course, they always finished ahead of the Mets.
But despite being only a notch above awful, the Colt 45s did have at least one diamond in the rough. Bob Aspromonte.
Bob Aspromonte was my favorite player. He was kind of the star of the team.
Bob was a ball player. He had no ego. Great third baseman. Set 2 National League records his first year.
But defense, more than slugging, was Aspromonte's specialty, as demonstrated by his 57 consecutive errorless games in 1962.
Aspromonte was really an all-star candidate as a third baseman. He was among the best in the league at that time. He got big hits, clutch hits. That's what he was known for. He was a guy that would win ball games. Also, one of the players that went out of his way to communicate with people. When people talked to him, he listened, and he looked at them, and he talked back. So little kids looked up to Aspromonte because there was nothing not to like.
One of those kids was Billy Bradley, who was lying in a hospital bed hoping for a miracle to help him see again. Billy's parents' desperate search for an expert surgeon finally struck gold in Houston specialist Dr. Louis Gerard.
Excellent.
He was their last hope. 9-year-old Billy traveled to Texas in the desperate prayer that his vision could be restored. Dr. Gerard would have to perform a series of 3 surgeries to remove the damaged tissue and hope that a transplant might take. While Billy lay in his hospital bed, the very help he needed was already on its way. His baseball hero, Bob Aspromonte.
Bobby got a call from the public relations department of the Colt 45s that there was a young man in Houston who was undergoing surgery after he'd been struck by lightning. Bobby was his favorite player. Would he sign an autograph for him? And Aspromonte, who had a great heart, decided to visit him personally instead.
Yeah, he's quite the little trooper.
Yeah.
Hey, Billy, there's someone here to see you.
At that time he was in the hospital, I was his favorite player. So I went to the hospital, spent some time with him.
Billy, it's Mr. Aspromonte.
Really?
Hey, Billy. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm good.
I brought you a hat and glove for you. I'll put it right here on the table.
Thanks.
Talk to him about all the things that you want to hear.
You want to be a big leaguer one day?
Yeah.
How you got to fight through this. There's a lot of peaks and valleys in life, and you're going to be getting out of this.
You're going to be out here real soon. You just keep plugging along, okay, Buggy?
I know if I was going through that, there'd be a very little smile on my face, but not for him.
He was totally thrilled. It was probably the last thing he expected.
Yeah, it was a great moment to have him come.
But Billy had a surprise too. A special request for his hero.
Well, Billy, you have to get going.
Wait, Bobby. Would you hit me a home run?
I said, Billy, what'd you say, Billy? He said, would you hit me a home run? I said, Billy, I'm not a home run hitter, but I will give you my best effort.
Aspromonte knew Billy's innocent request would be tough to fulfill. Bob was a far cry from a home run hitter, but he didn't want to disappoint his faithful young fan.
He never had a big home run year. So that's why the Bill Bradley story had that little extra dimension, because home runs didn't come easy. It wasn't like asking Barry Bonds to hit one for you. When you asked Aspromonte, you were asking a guy to hit one maybe every 20 games.
You know what makes it really interesting is that I was in the slump. So realistically, I was thinking to myself, Billy, if I could get him a couple base hits, he'd be satisfied.
They were up against the San Francisco Giants, eventual National League champs. With each at-bat, the pressure mounted for a big hit. Bob knew his biggest fan was waiting and hoping for a home run.
Outfield deep around the right side. Sorry, Asper, you'll get the next one.
Sure enough, it was a struggling day, too. I wasn't doing very well.
With just one more turn at bat, the odds of Bob satisfying Billy's request were practically nil.
He probably felt just a little twinge of pressure that, geez, I hate to letting this kid down, but the odds of my hitting a home run in this spot are probably 10,000 to 1.
Drawing on his clutch reputation, Aspromonte dug deep to try to thrill his new friend.
Aspromonte, right-handed batter.
It was the bottom of the 8th inning, with the Giants leading 3-1 and looking to notch another victory.
I was trying hard. I wanted to do something for him.
I certainly hoped he would, and felt that there was a great chance he could.
And on his last chance, he did.
Just unbelievable when he hit the home run. It was definitely a life-changing experience.
Having Aspro hit a home run for him when he was blind, it was very touching. It's a great story.
Any kid in that situation would have felt that the hand of God had touched him.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. He really did it.
So certainly I think his spirits were boosted, and he probably felt like the luckiest kid on the face of the earth.
I played almost 15 years in the big leagues. That was an incredible highlight for me.
Aspromonte's big hit sent a bold and stirring message. Victory was possible when defeat was at your door.
After the first surgery, it was a lot of trauma to the eye. It was several days before I could even open my eyes and try to see because they were so sensitive.
While the first of Billy's 3 operations was deemed a success, the young boy remained severely handicapped. When he returned to Houston a year later for his second surgery, the still blind youngster had yet another request for Aspromonte.
We went to the game and talked to Bob and asked him to hit me a home run.
The first home run was shocking enough. A second would take a miracle. This time, though, Bob had some comfort.
Knowing before the game that Billy was going to be there and he's going to have his little transistor radio with all the family, it was just a great feeling to have him there. Then the last of the 10th inning,
Billy.
they're all yelling, okay, Bobby, this is the time, you're going to do it, you're going to do it.
10th inning of 2-2 game, bases loaded.
And sure enough,
Aspromonte hits one out to win the game 6-2. Walk-off grand slam home run. Bobby really was proud of it and deserved to be.
For the kid, it was a tremendous emotional lift. Because next week he's going in, but it was an incredible lift for me that I accomplished something I wanted to do for this kid.
The manager of the team at the time, Harry Kraft, said, let's sign Bill Bradley to a contract if he can help us hit home runs and win games.
And now you figure that's got to be the end of the story.
But the story was just beginning. 2 weeks later, Bob visited Billy in the hospital. In the final long and dangerous operation, Dr. Gerard had succeeded. Billy's sight was restored. One deed remained to complete the miracle. He had a final request of his hero.
Thanks for the catch. I have to get going, okay?
Wait, Bobby, could you hit me a home run? This time, one I could see.
And normally I would try to say something funny, but I said, you know what, there's something going on here. Billy, I think I will hit you another home run because divine intervention has taken over. This is not Bob Aspromonte hitting this home runs for you. I'm getting a lot of help hitting this home run.
The expansion New York Mets would be that day's opponent. And this time, Billy Bradley would watch his hero clearly from the front row.
I don't get very emotional in a game, but for the two of the principals in that, it just must have been right down in the old gut. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Bobby was caught up in the idea of performing this heroic, but beyond that, they had become friends. It wasn't just he was the little boy's hero. He really liked him.
Bases loaded here off Tracy Stollard with 2 men out. Runnels at third, Staub at second, Wynn on first. Aspro behind here on Stollard, 1 strike.
It was the first inning against Tracy Stoll against the New York Mets. Boom.
Stollard using that full windup. Now here's the pitch. And Aspro hits one to deep left field. Way back in the corner. Home run!
It's amazing that, someone who doesn't hit a lot of home runs all of a sudden starts hitting home runs like that.
So there he had 3 home runs, all witnessed or heard by this young man from Arkansas, Bill Bradley.
It makes you think it's almost something supernatural.
That was for you, Billy.
Thanks.
Anytime.
I don't know if anything like that has ever happened anywhere in any sport. One home run would be, the story about Babe Ruth promising a little child that he hit a home run and then did. But that was one home run. Bob hit 3, which is, just unfathomable.
Stories of that kind resonate with fans because that's why we're fans. We grow up on the mythology of the game, and we grew up on the star doing something for a little kid out of the warmth and goodness of his heart.
Bob talking to me, spending time with me, was a lot more important, I think, to kids than we tend to realize. It gave me hope, really helped me get through it.
It was an incredible tale of courage, recovery, and faith. But what happened next was truly astounding.
The story continues to go on where he is recuperating and doing very well.
Start playing baseball again.
I get this little article from Little Rock, Arkansas. This one's for you, Bob. He pitched a 6-inning no-hit game. I said, Bill Bradley.
He gave me a call after that and thanked me.
That was a really gratifying time for me and experience to see how this kid come around.
He was really excited about it. I thought Bob had done so much for me that I want to dedicate this no-hitter to Bob.
But the story wasn't over. Just as the clouds seemed to part for Billy, Bob suffered a cruel twist of fate.
3 years after I retired from baseball, I was helping somebody jump a battery, and the cap from the battery hit me in my eye, and I was blinded in my right eye. I went through an awful lot. 8 different operations and went through a lot of agony over a period of time.
In a dramatic role reversal, the youngster was now boosting the spirits of the sports star, who years earlier gave him the hope to carry on.
But that was Billy for me, saying the same thing that I told this kid 12 years earlier. When we go through something as difficult as that, we all need some help. And we all need to be alongside that person that makes that person feel good.
Drawn together by disaster, Bob and Billy vowed to aid the many others robbed of their sight.
One of the most wonderful things we did, we tied in the relationships of two individuals like this with different backgrounds and put it together to raise money for the Houston Eye Association.
You know, I almost look at everything after the lightning strike as a bonus. Maybe God felt like there was something else that I was supposed to do.
What began in tragedy ended in triumph. A young boy and his hero who never stopped believing.
There was no warmer story than Aspromonte and Bill Bradley. It was really right out of the movies, almost literally. So if somebody asked me to pull out a memory from the back of my brain that had to do with warmth and humanity and drama and Hollywood kind of theatrics, it probably wouldn't take me a real long time to remember Bob Aspromonte and Bill Bradley.
Now when I look back on it, it really is just more amazing what happened and how it happened is unbelievable.